Welcome back to the weekly news roundup. I hope that you guys had a wonderful week. We are today talking about the Linux news of the week. And with that, we're going to go ahead and dive right on in here because we're going to run low on power if I don't watch my timing on this. All right, first up, Linux Mint 21.3, the Edge ISO has released, and they bumped the kernel up to 6.5. There were a few issues with the 6.2 kernel, particularly on, I think it was it Acer or... I forget exactly which system it was, but one of the laptop brands was having an issue with AMD hardware. So, identified compatibility issues, AMD GPUs, wireless chipsets, and SSDs in Acer laptops. So, the bumping the kernel to 6.5 solved all of those problems, but we are still having the old Mesa 2304 graphics stack. So there are a few things there to consider, but if you are wanting to run Linux Mint, but you do have some of the latest and greatest hardware, you're going to want to run with the Edge ISO. Really, the only major difference is it has the newer kernel, which supports more hardware out of the box. Now, it also comes with a downside. It only has the Cinnamon version, and it has the Cinnamon version only, no XFCE, no Mate version. And you can probably add kernels. I think you can add up to the 6.2 or was it the 6.5 kernel in Linux Mint 21.3, but by default it's 5.15. So and upgrading my laptop to that with the latest kernel actually solved some of my issues. And so definitely a good thing to do, particularly if you have Acer laptops and you want that Linux kernel 6.5. This is going to work well for you. So there you have that. And next up is Mozilla Firefox 122 is available for download. Now, I did cover a couple days ago how to install the Deb version. There was some discussion about Linux Mint, and even the original article, I think even this article says, hey, Linux Mint won't have to create that separate package. I'm not sure if they will care. They will probably continue to do it because even before Ubuntu did its whole Firefox snap crap, then they always modified their Firefox anyway, because they do things like change the search engine, because they'll put the default search engine in their browser, will help support their platform if you use it for browsing. They land you on their landing page, which is their only way of doing any form of analytics, is just how many people hit that landing page when you start the browser. We've done videos about all that before. So I'm not sure if this is going to change Firefox, if they're going to be like, oh, this has a Deb package, we're just going to package default all of the default things that Firefox wants to do, because there are some things Firefox does that Linux Mint does not like, particularly all the privacy opt-ins, which should be opt-outs, or opt-outs, which should be opt-in type things, like the experiments. I'm not sure, it's hard to say exactly where they sit on all those. I just don't remember, but I have a hard time believing that Linux Mint's going to look at that and go, oh, great, Mozilla just made our job easier. I have a sneaky suspicion they're probably still going to package it, but I don't know. I could be wrong on that one. Now, this does come with a number of different changes. Obviously, the first one is, hey, you can install the Deb version on Ubuntu again without having to worry about snap crap. And they do have a lot of other things. They have some better translation features, which the translation features were put in Firefox 1.18, and now it works a little bit better, and there's some more stable translations that no longer break interactive widgets on some websites, and it reduced the risk of disappearing content. The other thing that it does, there's some language adjustments over there, and it does enabling strips to score cache API data in private browsing mode, taint filters that use current color, and import to further protect user privacy. So a little bit of steps in the color coding profiles that are going to help reduce fingerprinting. So that's good in that respect. The one thing is it no longer has snippets, which is good. Hopefully we can get more depreciation of nonsense like Pocket and stuff like that. But in the search bar, you no longer have the option to put that search bar up next to the address bar inside of the settings. Now, that was particularly concerning for me because I like that being there, because I search in that so I can always see exactly what I searched. But you can still add that. You just add it by customizing the toolbar like you add all the other things to the toolbar. So it is still there as a function. It's just no longer in the search settings itself. So if that is something when you set up a new browser, you like that search bar, just be aware that they changed the location of that. They brought in some more things on the Android versions. And Firefox for Android will also be able to set the do not track me that no website pays attention to anyway. But hey, we can pretend or we are protecting our privacy, right? Right? Tor, Bueller. All right. So, and that's last but not least, this release changes the fallback URL parser from the unknown schemes to the default URI. So if there's something going goofy, it goes back to something and can figure out better. So a little bit better things. So we do have some positive adjustments in it. Nothing to horribly complain about in this version. So there was that. And Ubuntu Pro packages in Software Updater are garnering criticism. Now, I recorded a video on Ubuntu for tomorrow, and I specifically looked for this, and I did not see anything. But apparently some people are seeing this. Maybe it's just the particular version I'm using. That's why, because my build was not LTS. And I see here that it relies on LTS versions. So the software updater tool in the LTS releases, what it does is it will show you, hey, here's the current kernels. And then, oh, look, here's these grayed out security updates that you can't install because you do not have Pro. And this has garnered some criticism that is Ubuntu doing this to subtly push people towards using their Pro version. Now, it is free for, I think, up to 5 computers on a personal level, but you have to hand over your email address to them. This kind of starts sounding like some Microsoft tier nonsense. And so that really is where the criticism comes from, that this guy says he's supporting users like his dad, panics and says, there's updates I can't get, so that really is the question. So is this an ad or is this awareness? That's what the controversy has been. And this has to do a lot with the long-term support release cycles, the security updates, and that the Pro version is going to have more of the security updates. But people are saying, hey, give us the ability to turn that crap off, because if you're not going to let us update the systems to all the updates that you know are there, and you're really caring about computer security, maybe you should either push the updates to everybody, whether or not they decide to give you their email address, or you can just be like, oh, just pretend they don't exist and say, hey, we're security minded as long as you give us your email address. Regardless, no matter which direction they're going with, this is an absolute scum move on Ubuntu's part, and I think it's one they definitely need to address. So let me know what you think about that one in the comments. Very fascinating. And on to the Microsoft lawsuit fodder. Wubuntu has come out. This is the Windows Ubuntu operating system. They have it themed exactly, icons, styles, themes, even wallpaper, exactly as Windows 11. But they say it does not require they even have Copilot, including the new Copilot system. It does not require TPM, Secure Boot, or any other hardware requirements for its operation. Effectively, what it appears to be is a Ubuntu with a very well-designed Windows 11 Plasma theme. I am going to download this when I get the opportunity. It is a massive download at 5 gigabytes. And since I'm on seriously metered internet here, I'm going to go and grab that somewhere else. So stay tuned. As soon as I get the chance to download it, I'm going to do it. Now, they do have a Windows Ubuntu 11 Cinnamon Edition, which actually themes Microsoft Windows 10. And so this is the exact stuff. It's like I did a deep dive looking at Lindows, which was a Linux company that tried to actually mass market Linux computers under the name Lindows that themed and looked like the Microsoft Windows at the time, which I think was that 95 maybe. I don't think it was XP. I think it was like 95 or 98. And Microsoft eventually settled with them to change their name, and that's where we have Linspire from. But this looks like they're probably it's like they're doing the exact same thing. Only, hey, in this world where nobody cares about antitrust, maybe nobody cares. Now, I was not able to figure out exactly where the company is from. So now, does that mean, oh, they're sue-proof because they're not in the United States? No. One of the most fascinating things to me on the whole Windows debate is Microsoft was actually not able to overcome them in the American courts. They actually overcame them in the EU courts. And it's the EU court victory which weakened them enough to garner enough fear in them to cause them to settle in the US courts. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but they do have a phone number here, which is definitely not United States, but that may or may not make any difference to Microsoft, especially since apparently their logo itself has the Windows logo inside of it. If you see this, it is the Ubuntu logo with Windows logo inside. Also on their homepage, down here, embedded technologies used. Here's Linux, of course. Here's Android, of course. And then here we have Microsoft and Ubuntu's logos here. I'm not sure if Ubuntu would care as much, but Microsoft having their logo on a page like this, this is lawsuit fodder. So if you want to have a look at this, you might want to download it now while you can. So it's kind of curious, although I hope it's around. I love the meme of it. I really want to download this and play around with it and see what it looks like. But lawsuit fodder, if ever I've seen it. Let me know what you guys think. And if you're lawyers particularly, is there a valid claim about this? And if you can identify what country this is by that phone number, what country is it? And does that bear anything? I would love to know the commentary on that down below. If you want to help support the channel, we do have a Subscribestar page, subscribestar.com/switchedtolinux. You can jump on over there, and we do have our short stories over there. We released our latest short story on January 15th. It's an excellent story involving some terrifying things. I pulled from some of my past life experiences on this one. It's great. This was one of my favorite stories to write. I don't know if it's necessarily my absolute best story, but it is definitely, I like it. We should put up a poll. Which stories did you guys who are on the supporters networks, which ones did you guys like the most? Of course, jumping on over here, you can read all the past stories. Of course, you can download the audiobooks, which are available for 30 days. So I usually put these up on the 15th, and then you can proceed to download the audiobook until the 15th of the following month. And then those will disappear for a while. Maybe at some point in time, I'll bring them back more. I don't know. But you can have a look over there, subscribestar.com/switchedtolinux. With that, thank you for watching, and I hope that you too enjoy switching to Linux. Thank you for watching this video from Switched to Linux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.